those of you who like mayo but don't eat eggs. What else we got? Let's see. Oh, there's got to be. Okay, how about some other hot sauce? How about Red Hot? And we'll get one last condiment in here. Yeah, aioli. That would be the last one. All right, so hopefully with this kind of corpus, we're starting to get away from something that will repeat itself frequently. And it's looking really good from this angle. So I think it's about ready for us to start posting regularly. So I'm gonna make one of these every half hour and save those. Also, why not tweet one out right now so that everybody can see what's going on? And we'll go back to our Twitter account. Et voila. Bison burger on Hawaiian roll with onion and mustard. Also, apparently I haven't, oh no, there it is, yeah. So this is actually the Twitter profile page for the bot, and then this is like my Twitter home timeline. I'm not following anybody right now, so all I'm really seeing here is my own tweets as the bot. So once you get to this far, probably be a good idea to go on Flickr or Google, find a Creative Commons licensed picture of a delicious hamburger. That would be about the last thing that you need to get going. This bot's ready to. This bot is technically rolling right now because we set it to tweet in a time-based manner. So that's it. Like that's why it's cheap bots done quick, and that's about the quickest way you can get a bot going if you want to do something that just uses some randomly generated text like that. All right, so that's the end of that unit, and I'm gonna go back and spend time for Q&A. If anybody's got a oh, somebody suggested bacon. Bacon is definitely its own category. Maybe like bacon and avocados would be in like a special possible like upcharge thing. Yeah, but definitely like I might go back and add that in later. I think if I'm going to be like done with Botmaking today at the end of this workshop. But if you check back in a couple days, you might actually see some really interesting stuff coming out of that particular bot. So any more questions? Not seeing anything in the channel. But if anybody is behind right now, and I hope you're not, because that's definitely the quickest one, do please speak up. So what we're going to do for the final chapter in this is searching Twitter for our. Okay, we do have one question. I'll just move that to the front of the priority queue and answer now. Adding image links to data in the spreadsheet. So you can definitely just like add the link itself if you're making data off the spreadsheet. When SSBot 0.5.1 works, it actually does have the ability to change image links in your tweet text into attached images. So essentially, like it'll find a link, it'll actually like download the image locally to like a blob in memory, and then push it back to Twitter and say, please upload this and send me back like a media element, just an identifier that I can use in my tweet to tell you there's an image attached. If you go back and look at SSBot 5, I hope I actually still have that. Yeah. Okay, so there's a setting here that actually has convert image URLs to attachments. Set that to yes, and then make tweets with links to images. It can even be ones that you're hosting yourself. I think if you put them up in like a Drive folder, you can have public links to them. You can put them in Dropbox and have public links to them, and you just use those public links. And that's really it for the easy way to do it. If you're thinking about like, hosting them very privately and then trying to do that, it's a little bit more difficult. And generally, whenever I'm actually like making bots that make images, I'm not using any of the tools that I'm showing you today, because it starts to get a little bit more difficult. You have to manage a lot more of like your own hosting and your own tweeting, because you need something that's going to generate the images. Usually I'm writing those in Node.js and I'm hosting them on Heroku. So that's a thing, but you should definitely check out exactly what's possible with doing something like that. I had my first image bot was actually inspired by this one called Doop Doop Draw, and it's by Paul Leary McCann. All right, let's take a little diversion here. I'm going to show you some fun stuff with images just to wet your whistle and make you really want to get deeper into this. So Doop Doop Draw essentially takes a programming language and uses it to build images. If you're following this bot, you can actually set up your own. You can actually have it draw based on stuff that you send in. The syntax is really kind of tough to understand. It's based on a very low-level programming language called Forth, which means that all it's really doing is managing a stack of numbers, and whenever it's done running for each pixel and it'll get like a set of color values. And what it's doing in all of these ones you're seeing here is actually like randomly generating, these Forth-ish programs and just showing you what the result is. So I thought this was really cool. I helped with the randomizer a little bit. And then I decided that I wanted to actually do one that was art-based myself. So I actually made this one last year. It's called Neoplastabot. And essentially all it does is make random Mondrian-style images. It's, a grid of, partially obscured black lines, white squares with primary colors. Obviously it doesn't have things like the brush texture or anything attached to it, but this was really cool, and I'm super proud of having done this one. Later on, actually earlier this year, I made one that was a tribute to Andy Warhol. That's called Hexaptics. Yeah. And essentially, this is just pulling things from Flickr and running them through an ImageMagick script and then posting the results. But the idea is that I was trying to work all these down to essentially like 4-color poster styles, and then randomizing the colors that were used, so that they kind of looked like that sort of like Maryland diptych screen printing sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, I like it. It didn't really catch on. I think it's got 7 followers, 9 followers right now, but it's cool. Then the final one I did recently, I didn't even write my own code so much for the image generation, but I took an existing code base and then just stripped it down so that it would just generate images on a regular basis. And that one is called the Mandelbrot set. Mandelbrot set daily posts details of the Mandelbrot set. And it's, I don't know. I just did it because I think that fractals like this are beautiful things. So I just do these details to it, and wow, they look better than I remember. Actually, it's been showing good ones lately. Yeah, that just posts once a day because I'm not really interested in following. Even if I make bots that tweet every 10 minutes. I generally don't even follow them because it's a little bit too much noise in my feed. But these when I make these image posting bots, I make them post daily so that they're interesting to follow. All right, so that's the end of that diversion. So let's go back and talk a little bit about searching Twitter itself for tweets. So I like to call this, just based on my database experience from far back in my programming career, extract, transform, and load, or ETL, which is essentially when you take a database, a huge data source, and then do some kind of transformation on it, and then send it back to another data store system, like taking XML and turning it into relational databases or things like that. In this case, I just use it because what we're doing is we're actually extracting tweet content out of Twitter, transforming it into new content, and then sending it back as these new modified tweets. So there's a couple different styles of searching Twitter for for content, and some places just do retweeting. I wrote one that retweets whenever somebody is well, it's Uber but for cats, or it's Uber but for ice cream, and then retweets them because those startup ideas are ridiculous and we've really hit peak startup anyway. And things like Pentametron are amazing. Essentially, what Pentametron does is it finds tweets that are in iambic pentameter and retweets them. You can't really do that with the Twitter search API. It's actually using something called the streaming API. So it just looks over the public timeline, like as like the fire hose of tweets comes in, it just looks at them and sees like, well, does this one, is this one an iambic pentameter? No. Is this one an iambic pentameter? No. And then whenever it does find one, gets retweeted. But we're not going to focus on retweet bots today just because it is a little bit tricky to get them to operate without following that, without violating the don't be annoying rule. And they really do frequently get banned by Twitter. UberBut4 has been banned more than once. And essentially what I did was, the biggest thing that I did to make it not get banned is to slow it down so it only posts hourly, or it used to post every 10 minutes. But what we will be focusing on are things like FriendyCat. So FriendyCat is essentially just an automation of a joke that was in an XKCD comic. I don't know. Oh yeah, I can actually open this link. So essentially, it just substitutes my cat with my friend Catherine, and you can see some thoughts of what Randall Monroe thought that this would look like. And it's like, my friend Catherine just did a backflip and then ate a bug, right? So I was like, okay, this is, we think, we suspect, but he's never really said it explicitly. We think that Randall has actually been sort of following Twitter bot makers, and oh crap, sorry, I forgot about my hot corners. I hope you're still here with me. Sorry. Yeah, my screen just blanked out. I don't know if you saw that or not in the stream, but well, okay, we'll just continue. So FriendyCat is, where'd that go? FriendyCat is just an automation of this. So essentially, what I'm doing is searching Twitter for happy tweets that have the phrase "my cat" in it, and then I changed my cat into my friend Catherine, and then because of "don't be harassy" rule, remove anything that looks like Catherine might be misgendered, and then repost it. So, for example, if tonight or tomorrow we get a new TV spot or some kind of footage, I'll eat my friend Catherine's foot. That's a little creepy, but I didn't give my friend Catherine wet food today, so she's just watching me eat. That's, yeah. It's silly and ridiculous, but it's also, I think a lot of fun to occasionally do things like this, just because of, especially if it's a good joke when